Now let's move on to the final speaker of the webinar today. Welcome, Rasmus. You're here on behalf of Mindway AI. How are you today?
Thank you very much, Willem. I'm very well, thank you, and thank you for inviting me.
Absolute pleasure. Rasmus, please tell us briefly what your service includes.
So our solutions is based on the fact that we at Mindway AI is a scientific-based company, 100% focused on safer gambling solutions. Currently, we offer two solutions: Game Scanner and Game Analyze.
Thank you. Second question over to you, Rasmus. Which issues specific to the Spanish market does your product address?
Yeah, in general, our products address the regulatory requirement and challenges for operators related to detection of at-risk and problem gambling behavior of the players. More specifically, both solutions are related to the fulfillment of the requirements of the upcoming Royal Decree on Responsible Gambling coming into force 1st of July, the Royal Decree 176 of 14th of March. Among other things, the decree outlines that operators should establish mechanisms or protocols to detect risky behavior, take into account objective criteria or indicators, and other quantitative or qualitative elements, including experience. In particular, also to detect intensive gambling behavior and risky gambling behavior as it is defined in the decree. Also establish an in-content and individualized messaging and have a self-test of gambling behavior available on the website. This is exactly the direct challenges and regulatory requirements our solutions solve. Plus, we, with our services and solutions, also support most of the rest of the Royal Decree.
Thank you, Rasmus. That was very helpful. Before we move to the next question, just to remind everybody, all attendees of the webinar here, that you can ask questions that we will deal with at the end of this webinar. Point your camera to the QR code on the right side of your screen, or go to slido.com, add the hashtag GIS and enter your question. Rasmus, continue to you. You mentioned two products. Let's start with the first one. What is Game Scanner and what does it do?
Well, Game Scanner is an AI-based solution developed to detect at-risk and problematic gambling behavior. What we have invented is the approach to be able to combine AI machine learning algorithms with human expert psychologist assessments. And what we want to achieve with this is to detect the full picture of the gambling behavior. Not only the monetary part, not only the time spent. We want to detect this full picture of the gambling behavior based on a very comprehensive detection and monitoring of up to 150 data points, which gives us the opportunity to make this full picture on a more individualized and more granulated way based on each individual player's gambling behavior. So based on that, we provide this detection and monitoring both in a real-time model and also in a longer-term model. We provide the output in a quite sophisticated analysis tool to the operator, with on top of that monitoring and alarm setting. So actually we wrap everything up in terms of what the RG staff at the operator needs to do in terms of action view and taking the proper actions. Most of the early intervention can be individualized, automated to fulfill the requirement of the Royal Decree. Our software has, to our understanding, as the only one been tested and validated by a testing company. Game Scanner was tested by GLI, and they found that in 87% of all cases, our algorithm will detect the same as a human psychologist would, bearing in mind that humans are not 100% either. Currently, Game Scanner is used by Entain as part of their ARC program, as well as Flutter divisions, and in total we detect more than 7 million active players per month with Game Scanner.
That's an impressive number here, Rasmus. Thank you very much. Let's look a bit closer at your other product, Game Analyze. What is Game Analyze, Rasmus, and what does it do?
Yeah, well, Gamealize is a self-test as a card game based on neuroscience theory. What we have seen in terms of self-testing from the player's perspective is that the typical way of self-testing with questionnaires are unengaging, based on sensitive questions, which often are not answered honestly, misinterpreted or misunderstood, which gives a bias in the self-test. And finally, these questionnaires are not very actionable. Together with Holland Casino, the Dutch casino group known for RD Focus, we co-developed Gamealize to cope with these challenges. So in detail, Gamealize is a self-test as a card game, as mentioned. We ask the player to flip 80 cards from 4 pre-shuffled decks with the aim of maximizing the win in this fictive card game. It takes roughly 2 to 3 minutes. We know that because we have had more than 50,000 games played already. And during the game, we measure the decision making when gambling. And the reason why we are able to do that is that problematic gambling behavior or problematic gambling can be traced back to a part of the limbic system in the brain called ventromedial prefrontal cortex. After the game has been played, we show the results of the fictive card game to maintain the engagement of the player. We ask the player to do a self-evaluation. We report what we have detected, and even more important, we give, based on what we have detected, 3 specific advice to the player on what to do about what we have detected during the game. And then finally, we can provide an option to get the report mailed over. We see a number of various use cases to fulfill the requirement of self-testing in the Spanish market, both on online and land-based operator sites.
Thank you, Rasmus. That's very, very interesting.